Ahoy mateys, and welcome back to Screamingpirate EDC. Today we're doing another plunder or plank. That's where if a knife walks the plank, it's out of the collection. If it is plundered, it stays. Well, let's do some quick announcements before we get into the knife. First of all, we have a patch drop. It's going to be the Screaminpirate V3s that are going to be dropping October 30th at noon Eastern Standard Time. After that, guys, there is a giveaway going for 3,000 subscribers, so go check that video out. All right, guys, that's all the announcements I have. Let's go ahead and get into the knife. This is the Something Obscene LEK. Okay, so we are going to take a closer look at this knife, do some size comparisons, and see if it's going to be plundered or planked. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and have some specs on the screen for the LEK. Now, I have not seen a prototype of this. I ordered it and just got one in. I think this is the gentleman one is what he called it, configuration. So I have a satin blade, black hardware, black studs, and a like dark gray stonewash handle. Now, some specs of note. This knife is a little on the heavier side. I'm not going to say it's heavy because there are definitely heavy knives out there at just over 5 ounces. We're looking at just over 3.5 inch on the blade. And this is a chisel grind. Now, you are still getting super thin behind the edge, like 0.4, 0.3 millimeters, which is great. With that being said, guys, the specs are out of there. I did notice there is some pocketing on the inside of the scale, so it does help with weight, which is really nice to see. You know, if you didn't have all that weight reduction, it would be a brick. It really would, guys. Well, got some specs out of the way. Let's do some size comparisons because I don't know anybody that else has done a review on this knife. So let's show you some knives that I think are similar, you know, Warney styles. So first up, let's take a look at the Demco AD 20.5. Okay. Obviously a smaller knife, but wanted you to see it next to it. After that, let's go ahead and grab its direct peer, which is also going to be from Something Obscene. This is the J-Cape 3.5. Okay, there we go. What I think is the most classic Warney you can get right now, but that's my opinion, guys. This is going to be the Arcane Design Crawler. There you go. After that, let's go ahead and grab the Chavez Sangre. Now, this is the new one in the thumb stud and not the flipper, okay? Very similar in overall size. Wanted you guys to see that next to each other. After that, another knife that is an iconic Warney that everybody loves right now. This is going to be the Brian Brown Jaeger M. Okay. And then finally, the big chungus, the, I guess, big old sheep's foot. This is going to be the Renegade EDC Gungnir. There you go, guys. So, have all those size comparisons out of the way. The most similar here is definitely going to be the Arcane Design Crawler and the Sangre from Chavez, all right? So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the knife. So you have these coffin studs here, right? The front and back. It means I can reverse flick, which I love. I love that I can literally just take the knife and it just fires open. That's great. Here's the problem. Deploying it with my thumb sucks. And I mean sucks, guys. And part of the problem is with how shallow this is here. So if I have my thumb here, you see how I'm having to really dig up in there, guys? And a lot of the time, I miss. I don't like that. It feels a little dangerous too whenever it comes part way out and my thumb is right there near the blade. Like that kind of, that'll give you some pause. Left-handed, I can kind of get up in there if I give it a little bit of wrist. But the reverse flick is fine. I do think these studs definitely need some modification. I don't quite know that they are exactly what I would have done. I feel like if this would have been passed around, I didn't get one, so I don't know if it was. Someone would have noticed the studs. I really don't like them. I would have made that, that ramp not as shallow there, personally. Ergonomics on the knife, not bad. This little scoop in the back, I know you can hook your finger back here. But like, I never really want to be that far away from, that's a long ass way away from a blade, guys, almost an inch. When I am up here, thanks to all this jimping though, I do have a really secure spot for my finger to sit, okay? Right there, which is nice. I do like that a whole lot. Now, as far as detent, I don't think the detent could be changed too much, but I would lighten it a little bit. I really got to give it some wrist if I'm doing a thumb flick. Now, reverse flick is perfectly fine for the detent. There is good chamfering all the way around, even out here on these humps on the blade. Back here, all of that is nicely done. The torque spit sizes, guys. So these are the exact ones I use in my Amazon store. If you grab some, helps the channel. Let's go ahead and check that pivot. T8 and T8 on my bodies and T8 for even the detent, which is good, guys. So T8 all around. I like to see it. So this is neither a flat nor a hollow grind. It is a chisel. So there you go, guys. I'm going to try to get nice and close for you so you can see how it looks when it's closed, okay? Very interesting, and it also has an interesting shape. I would call this a warny, I would, but having all this extra scalloping out there kind of, makes it a more interesting blade. I do think that the tip out here on the knife is gonna be thin. I would be careful with any kind of work that you're gonna do with the very tip of that knife. It is pretty damn thin. And now the pocket is fine. I have no problem with it. In fact, I really like this clip. I like it more than the actual like sculpted lightning bolt. That's me personally. Now onto the knife, guys, and what I think. I have a couple things here. This backspacer, I don't quite understand it. With it being so small, I would have either done standoffs or made a full-length backspacer. It just looks kind of small and out of place for for a larger knife. Personally, I really don't quite get the size of that backspacer. Up next, the thing that's kind of strange to me, and I know it's a Something Obscene thing, and a lot of people like it, it's the size of the logo on the blade, guys. It's just, I think many moons ago, we talked about Spyderco's giant branding and nobody liked it. And I feel like this could really be shrunk down and moved. I feel like it kind of takes away from the blade, personally. Lastly, guys, these studs. These studs, to me, are kind of a travesty. It's really not easy to actuate it with your thumb, and they are thumb studs. The reverse flick is fine, but also I think part of that is because of the screw there, guys, because you can actually get your finger behind that screw. On the front, you don't have it. So it kind of makes it a little more difficult. Yeah, I really just feel like they're too shallow. You really got to get up behind the peak of that like coffin on the stud. I would have just made them bigger, honestly. Like they could just be bigger. And I feel like that would resolve a lot of problems. I'm not quite sure if this was passed around, but it was one of the first things I noticed when I took it out of the box. Well, guys, with that being said, if you like Something Obscene and you like Felix and his designs that he brings to the table, this was not designed by him personally, but it was tweaked by him. If you like his stuff, I mean, you're probably going to like this. For me, I don't. This is definitely a plank. And I don't really like it a whole lot. And a lot of that, guys, is it doesn't fit, you know, in my niche of what I like. A lot of way I know I like a knife guy is when I take it out of the box, can I open it? And do I immediately index where it's comfortable and meant to be used? I immediately index here, okay? Which is fine, but then my finger's like, well, what the hell is back here? Do I move up? And I'm constantly having to shift. It's the similar problem I had in the EMP Nimble. I open the knife and I don't know where to put my hand, you know? Like, this is fine, but do I want to move up here? Do I want to shift back? I don't like shifting my hand around once I open a knife. It's a personal thing. The other thing is I really don't like the studs. And a whole lot of a knife, to me, is the opening mechanism. It can look great, it can be ergonomic. If I don't enjoy opening the knife, I'm not going to use it. So that being said, guys, this is a plank, and it's going to walk, and it's going to leave the collection. Well, hopefully this was informative to you guys. Don't forget, there is a giveaway going, patch drop on the 30th, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Okay, I got it that time. Mother...